empowering women, encouraging people, uplifting communities.
Sheree, you've been very open about your hospitalization and the moments of your struggle.
Yeah.
What have these experiences taught you about self-awareness?
So it definitely taught me that I do have a mental health diagnosis that needs to be well taken care of with much self-care, with treating myself with self-love, with taking a moment to learn more about my diagnosis with bipolar disorder. So just learning that sometimes relapse can occur and sometimes hospitalizations are needed as a form of self-care, as a form to retreat and get well. So that's what I definitely learned in my journey of having a few hospitalizations over the time.
Okay, so you felt that those hospitalizations were needed and they rejuvenated you.
Yes, I can definitely say when I first started my mental health journey, the first few hospitalizations, I was not taking my medication, okay?
All right.
And I wasn't taking it as how I was supposed to take it. And I can say that with that experience, I was young. Mental illness was not talked about openly, and I was very much in shame about it. So those hospitalizations were my parents checking me in to get the help that I needed to see. But for some reason, I was trying to figure out this whole thing with faith and mental health, right? You know, trying to see was taking medication a sign of lack of faith, and that's so not the case, right?
Okay.
And just learning how to let go of the shame and the stigma of it. And good thing I had a really great therapist at that time who helped me understand that to look at it as a physical illness and look at it as if I had cancer or diabetes.
Right.
And to help me change my perspective of how I was viewing things. So that's what really made a difference, and that's when in 2014 I decided, okay, after one of those hospitalizations where I was taking the medication on because of the side effects and different things like that we all know that medications can come with. But I came to the realization, I said, okay, I really do have something going on with me. Something is really wrong with me. I'm trying my best to fast, pray, do diet, exercise, and all that. But I need some extra help, and getting that extra help was seeking mental health services and taking medication. And that was my process. And it's been a long journey where, you know, of course, not only informing myself, but informing others about it too, to bring forth that mental health awareness when it comes to and break that stigma when it comes to hospitalizations.
Okay. Your faith seems to play a huge part, a huge role in your mental health journey. How has your relationship with faith evolved as you navigate your diagnosis and advocacy work?
Yes, so I can definitely say God has been faithful. He has been faithful through the years with my highs and my lows and the moments where I felt like I had setbacks and relapse. He has been faithful to come through for me in a way where he has given me remission at times when it comes to the mental health diagnosis, just being in a really good place. And he has given me the tools and the resources to help overcome and to turn my pain into purpose. And that was included with just hosting trainings with DWIN, which is Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network, to just share my story on different platforms, to blogging about it. So he turned all the stuff that I had the most shame about, the most stigma about, the most hurt about, and he turned that pain into purpose.
Positive.
Yeah,
positive. So one question personally I would have is, what did you see your family go through? Because we may go through something, but sometimes we don't realize what our position has taken our family through.
Oh yes, my parents,
because they don't know when things happen. It's usually new, at least to the family, to the loved ones. So share some of that, how your family kind of gathered around you. I'm sure at the beginning maybe they didn't quite understand either.
Well, you know, my mother had much experience with bipolar from a loved one.
Okay.
So it wasn't really new to her. It was just new practicing to it happened to her own daughter.
Right. To my child.
To my own child. And
right.
so for my parents, they were very loving and very helpful towards me in my journey, my mental wellness journey. Right. They were very supportive, always been supportive, and helped me get well, just helped me when I needed help, right. Just whether it be kind of taking medication or going different places because I couldn't drive because I wasn't well.
Right.
Right. My parents were just very hands-on. My grandmother was very hands-on. My dad's mother was very hands-on with, making sure that I was taken to appointments or needed to go to the hospital. I joke with her to this day about how I was mad at her as a teenager for how she checked me in to the hospital.
Right.
Just so angry with her, but I thank God she did that because I wasn't well and I couldn't. When you're not well, sometimes you can't see that you're not well. I know in my own personal journey, couldn't see that I wasn't well.
That's
true. Yes. So my parents and my family have been very hands-on and very loving towards me, and very much, I'm just so grateful for them.
So once again, another personal question. We're at the age where we're dating. How do you share that with someone that you may be dating? Is this something that you share up front, or is this you're comfortable in your family and in yourself? So I would think you're really comfortable with that, but what is your experience with that, with sharing to someone that you may potentially date, that you may spend time with? How do you navigate that?
That's a good question because, oh my goodness, I am still learning how to do that with dating. When I was in my previous relationship, I waited a few months before I disclosed that with that person. But in other dating relationships, even though we weren't in a relationship, we were just dating, I was very open in the very beginning because I was like, this is what I do.
Right. This is who
I am.
Right.
But I can say now, looking back, because I think owning your story is just something that you just have to have confidence in. Right. And knowing that it's a movie on modern love, I think it's season 1, episode 3. Okay. It is with Anne Hathaway, and she has bipolar, and she has these dating relationships, and then she finally comes open and says, I have bipolar. And the title of the season is Take Me As I Am. Okay. And my takeaway from that, from just what I went through in my previous dating relationship, was no, it's take me as I am. This is what I have. It's not who I am, but it's part of what I have and what I go through. But it's not who I am. It doesn't define me as a person. Right. I'm a great person. I'm an amazing person, right? And so just making sure when you're dating, you're not looking at yourself as your diagnosis, even when you present that to whoever you are dating. So I actually came up with my blog about 12 questions to ask someone dating, 12 questions to ask dating someone with bipolar disorder. Okay. And I think the best time is, disclosing when you're the most comfortable. When you feel most comfortable disclosing it. I'll never forget when I was hospitalized, and it was a social worker there, and she had bipolar disorder, but she didn't disclose that to her husband. So she's still married for all this time, and he still has no idea that she has bipolar, because she's like, I know I'm not that, and I take my medication. And I thought to myself, that's a big secret to keep. That's
deceitful.
Yeah, that's deceitful.
In a marriage.
Right? Because you have a child, and the child can develop it. So where is that going to come about? So it's like, I understand in your journey before marriage, you're going to take time with trust and love and care to disclose. Okay, you may not disclose I was hospitalized right away, but eventually you will disclose that when you see things are getting more serious and your partner has a love and respect and a genuine care for you, because I think that is so very important, to make sure you have that genuine love and that genuine care from a partner who really wants to understand you. So I say, you know, if you ever disclose, and tell them, would you like to ask them, would you like some material about it, to learn more about it? More than likely, the right person for you is going to want to learn about it.
I tell my kids, Google it. Google it. So, and you kind of touched on what would have been my next question is, have you considered one day you will have kids?
Yes.
And they may need the love and care that your parents gave you.
Yeah.
So in picking a husband, it's going to be real important for you. Yeah. And you already know that, to know what may come, and can this individual handle that? Can we as a team handle this? So that's, you're really open. And I think that's probably part of your healing, to accept what is, and then like how we can deal with this. So I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Even before today, just knowing your story and knowing that you were kin to me, I was like, that's my cousin. I'm so proud of you, because more people need to feel free.
Listen, if we even think you owe us money, you won't know what hit you. We'll put liens on everything you own. Raid your bank accounts, retirement fund, pension. You'll open up your paycheck and cry, because we'll already have the money.
Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate your tax bill and reduce your stress. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, do not call the IRS alone. Call a Tax Doctor now for a tax emergency analysis. Life can be full of risks. One thing you shouldn't take a risk with ever is your family's health insurance. If you're self-employed or you now need affordable health insurance, you need to make this free call right now and see how the Health Insurance Helpline can help you get it. We specialize in helping the self-employed and people just like you that need affordable health insurance to get it. We have short and long-term health insurance plans, and some even cover dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Don't take a risk with your family's health insurance. It's not worth it. If you're self-employed or now need affordable health insurance, call right now and learn for free how to get it. Listen, affordable health insurance plans for everyone just like you are a free phone call away. So give us a shout right now.
Call 877-791-2642. That's 877-791-2642. 877-791-2642.
So you mentioned the challenge of having to stop therapy sessions at one point due to maxed out hours. How did you cope with this interruption in your support?
Yes, so I did depend on support during that time from family and friends, but I also had a teacher who knew what was going on, that knew that my therapy services that had ended abruptly due to maxed out hours, and they told me to check into CAPS, which is Counseling and Psychological Services. And what I did was I was very much like high on the roster to need to be seen, because I had lost my grandmother that year. It was a lot of grief, deaths going back to back. A loved one got sick that year. So it was just a lot going on. I was finishing my last year at Eastern Michigan University. So
through all of this, you still got your education.
I still got my education.
Go girl.
Yes, so it was something I was truly proud of. And from that moment, because all that happened, I checked myself in as well when I was going through that, because I was actually taking like a sociology of grief class during that time of my grieving process. And I remember on Thanksgiving week, I checked myself in. I told my mother, I said, hey, I think I need to check myself in. I checked myself in. And from that moment, the insurance and everything just got together. Everything worked out with D-Win.
Okay.
Everything worked out where my story was able to be featured on Eastern Michigan website, as well as being interviewed by Carolyn Clifford and have my story featured on Channel 7.
Right.
So it was just, and being featured in Michigan Chronicle and so many other platforms. So it was just amazing. It was like a hard time, but it turned into such a sweet moment.
And sometimes we're the chosen ones to carry something through, because if it would have happened, and it probably did to someone who really don't want to take their medication or really don't want to be there, you know, then that story wouldn't have got out.
Right.
Those people wouldn't have been contacted.
Yeah.
You know, so I love your openness. And I'm sure you've already realized that being open helps so many more people, because the question that's not asked is a whole lot of people back there got that same question.
Yes.
And they just won't ask it. So thank you for sharing that. Your book, including Dear Pandemic, have resonated with many people. What inspired you to write these books, and what message do you hope readers will take away from this?
So I really want to gear towards mental health. During the pandemic, I think a lot of people noticed that mental health was a real thing.
Yes.
I'm surprised that I have met people who still don't think mental health was a real thing, but it is very much a real thing. The pandemic really highlighted how people were going through isolation and how they were going through depression and anxiety, and how they felt alone during the journey. So I was just sharing, highlighting with my book, Dear Pandemic, how I lived in quarantine before it happened was when I was going through my mental health situation, where I was experiencing depression and anxiety and wanted to stay cooped up in the home, or, you know, just not being well. And so I want to share that people were not alone in their journey of having these emotions. And so I did like a gratitude book with Dear Pandemic, and I did the How I Lived in Quarantine Before It Happened. And so that's how that came about, with just shining a light on mental health in a whole new way.
Okay, the pandemic was something different. My mom was one of the first to pass, March 28th, right after it came out, like February, when we began to get knowledge of it. And after her passing, I felt I was mentally off balance. I was mentally off balance. I don't even know what I was. It took me 3 years. I mourned for about 3 years. Matter of fact, I went through here and I rehabbed and redid this building while mourning, because I'm the type of person that likes to look back and see, even though it was a hard time and it was a difficult struggle, what did I accomplish? You still have to accomplish something. You're still alive. And I accomplished rehabbing this building. And Mommy's picture sits there. And I walk through here almost daily, and I cried. And I cried. But I could see things looking better. I could see that distressed wall painted, you know. So mentally, you can be in such a place that you really need help, and you don't know how to get the help. Is there a Detroit number? Is there a number like for mental health that we could call? I think is what, 211 for Detroit information? Maybe 611, I'm not positive. But is there a number for mental health that if I'm feeling a certain way, I can call and say, I feel like this, I need help?
So we know about the suicide prevention hotline number,
Correct.
which is now 988.
Okay,
You
988.
can call and talk to someone for being in distress. There's also the crisis text line, someone that you can talk to. You can text them and have someone to speak to. There's the Pure Warm line, whose number that you can find through Michigan Pure Warm Line, and you can. There's actually a Warm Line directory where if you can't get in touch with anyone here, there's other states available where you can find in your own state to talk to someone for 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
just
cool.
share what's on your heart. You know, I always advise, you know, going in person and finding a therapist, go to a community mental health center in Michigan and find someone who you can talk to.
Right.
Yeah.
I myself have a therapist. It's been about 6 months now, and it's not the first time that I went into therapy. I went when my mom passed. I wasn't quite comfortable with that therapist. But the one I have now, I really like.
Yeah.
So, and she puts a mirror in my face, and that's good. What about you? You know, what can you do? And a lot of times you don't always look into yourself and what can you do better to navigate the world, your family, and all of that. So I do appreciate that she always gives me another side, another picture to look at. And it makes me feel and see that you've got to consider the next person because you're not in this world by yourself.
Yeah.
So therapy is really good, and I think most people need therapy.
Yes.
You know, I really do. So thank you for that. Because I always cut short.
Did it sound okay with the dating part?
Yeah, I like the dating part.
Okay.
I really do, because I mean, a lot of people don't think about that, and then most of us don't want people to know.
Yeah.
So that means you're starting a relationship falsely.
Yeah.
You know, he need to know he might be at the hospital some late nights.
Yeah.
He needs to know you.
Yeah.
To know when, hey babe, we need to, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's, and then you kind of know what you have. You have a real man, or you have something else.
Oh yeah, because
you know?
I was dating the guy that I was with. It felt like the person I was dating at that time, I didn't want to say this on camera because I'm just still healing, but it was like, I mean, my therapist talked about it, it was like I had to, this person came from trauma with family with mental illness that wasn't getting treated, right? So I had a lot of trauma. So he had a lot of stigma. Even though I told him my journey, it felt like I had to kind of keep my purpose. It felt like I was burying my purpose. Even though I was working in the field.
Right.
And even with my journey, it was like he made me uncomfortable to share certain parts of my journey just because of what he's been through. But I was trying to be mindful. So when it all came push to shove, when I was going through my episodes and stuff like that, he'd understand it. He was like, how come you tell me this mental health stuff in the beginning through a text message? Yeah. And it was like, I was trying to give myself space. It wasn't even a full year yet.
Right. You haven't got there yet.
I didn't get there. I was trying to see. But it just showed me at that moment, you need someone who really, even when you try to mention about mental health, this person wasn't ready to address the topic. Right. Because of their hurt and trauma with it. Right. And burnt out from it. You know what I mean? So it was like, it was one of those things where I was telling my therapist today, being in order to help me understand trauma. I know I had my own trauma, but understanding that person, other people's trauma with it, and why they feel the way they feel when it comes to it. Right, because you had a supportive family. I had support family, and we had most people don't experience that. Don't. So he looked at bipolar much different. He did. Much different because it was the negative that family member brought to the rest of the family, the things that they did to them, the things that they said. I mean, so no filter, more or less. Right. And so he saw it from a different point of view.
Hey, follow Kimberly on social media, Kimberly Bennett on social media, or visit our website at www.watchkimberly.com.
Want to appear on our show? Visit our website and click Be a Guest, and one of our producers will reach out to you. Season 2 production is starting soon, so you don't want to wait.
Life can be full of risks. One thing you shouldn't take a risk with ever is your family's health insurance. If you're self-employed or you now need affordable health insurance, you need to make this free call right now and see how the Health Insurance Helpline can help you get it. We specialize in helping the self-employed and people just like you that need affordable health insurance to get it. We have short and long-term health insurance plans, and some even cover dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Don't take a risk with your your family's health insurance, it's not worth it. If you're self-employed or now need affordable health insurance, call right now and learn for free how to get it. Listen, affordable health insurance plans for everyone just like you are a free phone call away. So give us a shout right now.
Call 877-791-2642. That's 877-791-2642. 877-791-2642.
Risk-taking has been a big part of your journey, from being open about your diagnosis to advocating for public mental health services. What advice would you give to others who want to share their mental health story but are afraid of the potential backlash or stigma?
You know what? I'm going to share the wise words from Joyce Meyer.
Okay.
And she always says, do it afraid. And this whole time when I was doing my whole journey, I just thought, do it afraid. I can't think of what someone is going to say, the backlash, the stigma. I have to do it afraid. We know these things may come, but you never know. It may be the totally opposite of the people who are going to in turn tell you how your story blessed them and how it helped them and how it made them feel less alone and how it made them feel like they were heard and they didn't have to suffer in silence anymore. So I say do it afraid.
Definitely. New journeys and growth. Growth comes with some fear. It definitely comes with some fear. And I say just get to the edge. You gotta jump. You gotta jump. You can't just go to the edge. Life don't end there. You gotta jump. So that's good. Do it afraid. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. What's next for you in your journey as a mental health advocate? Are there new projects, studies, or goals on your horizon that you're particularly excited about?
Yes, so I'm currently working on a book.
Okay. Okay.
I just finished a series on TikTok.
Okay.
Called Things I Wish I've Known Before Experiencing Bipolar in Love.
Okay.
And so that's just based on my experiences from my dating experience, relationship experience, things I wish I'd known. And so I was like, okay, Lord, I'm going to write this book. I'm going to tell myself I'm going to turn pain into purpose once again.
Okay.
And I'm going to just complete this book and let it be a blessing. And prayerfully at the end of this book, I meet the one who God has for me.
Right.
Keep me in your prayers.
Right. And he already knows from reading the book.
Yes.
That we're well-rounded.
Yes.
We know what's going on. And we self-care.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so just working on this book. My goal is to start a podcast.
Okay.
I'm not sure when it's going to happen, but I do want to start a podcast. And I just plan on just doing more features on different podcasts I've been asked to speak on.
Okay.
But that's what God has me doing right now. I was really focused on my health, my mental health, my writing these books, doing the blogs, doing the videos, which I'm planning on doing another series based on a book written by Amy Morin.
Okay.
The book is called 13 Things Mentally Strong People Don't Do. And it's an excellent book that comes with an awesome workbook. Okay. And it really helps you really become resilient. So that's what I'm working on.
All right. So there's a future here.
Yes.
There's more to come. Part
Yes.
A, Part B, Part C. So Sheree, thank you.
Thank you
so much for agreeing to come and help me feel comfortable because you're family. But you have a story that a lot of people can benefit from. So I'm not done with you because I've learned so much, really, and I'm so proud of you. Working with people every day who have a diagnosis, and really some of my people don't even have the mental capacity to understand like you do, to give themselves that self-care and self-awareness, you know. And so when I show up to work every day, it's like I'm needed, because without me, you know, they wouldn't get that mental health. They wouldn't have someone there ready to tell them medication is really cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna be all. We're not gonna be in the hospital. We go. So sometimes I have to coach some of the people that I have oversight of.
And if they have to check themselves in, it's okay. It's a form of self-care.
Exactly. It's a form
okay.
of self-care.
Yeah.
And another thing I do want to mention is I've had homes for special need people and seniors for over 20 years. And at the beginning, the first 10 years, when I had to have the police come to the home for some reason, they were very negative. They interacted not to make things better. It was like we were wasting their time. But now the police show up with an advocate or a social worker.
See?
I'm like, oh my God, all these things I'm thinking, they need to better understand. And so, we're getting there.
Yeah.
I do see some moves in some areas that say we're getting there.
Yes.
We're better understanding
Yes.
what the human being needs.
Yeah.
So thank you. If you want to find out more about mental health, visit our website. The information is on your screen. See you again next time. Bye-bye.
Hey, follow Kimberly on social media, Kimberly Bennett on social media, or visit our website at www.watchkimberly.com.
Want to appear on our show? Visit our website and click Be a Guest, and one of our producers will reach out to you. Season 2 production is starting soon, so you don't want to wait.